everybody, and welcome to episode 21 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who are the clone soldiers with me tonight?
Clone soldier Stefan JD reporting for duty.
RC1138, Stuart Hughes. and guest.
And Commander Morgan Vandermeer.
Hey, welcome
How
to
do you
the
know,
podcast.
Rex?
Yeah,
Commander
good
guest.
friends.
Good friends.
Commander guest.
Commander guest.
Commander guest works perfectly.
That'd be a great handle.
Oh, and before we get too far, I want to give a shout out to another podcast called The Unboxing Story. John and Melissa unpack their feels about fringe fiction, comparing and contrasting modern commercial fiction with cult classics. They recently just did an episode about C.S. Lewis, so if you guys get a chance and another podcast to add to your rotation, take a listen. And Stuart, would you like to introduce what game we are playing this week?
Yes, we are playing Star Wars Republic Commando. Or we already played it, now we're talking about it.
Close enough.
Joke's on
I
you,
guess-
nothing for me.
And for anyone who doesn't know about Republic Commando, the hell is wrong with you? But also, Republic Commando, the best way I think to describe Republic Commando is like, what if Tom Clancy made a Star Wars game?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
It's Ghost Recon / Rainbow Six Vegas Star Wars Republic Commando. That should be the full title.
And this game was made by LucasArts and came out in 2005.
A year before Rainbow Six Vegas came out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
This came out in Xbox and Windows, which I thought was interesting. Because I could have sworn it was on PS2, but it was not apparently.
Nope. And as of last year, you can play it on Xbox One as well. It was made backwards compatible.
Pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's nice that there's still stuff like that.
Before we get too far into it, you guys have any memories of this game? Of playing it back in 2005 or somewhere around that time?
Yes. So
I must admit, I did not play this game anywhere near launch. I played it first time I played through it entirely was about 2 years ago. And I first saw it on a demo disc I got with I think Game Informer magazine or a cheap magazine or something for my original Xbox, and it was just the trailer got me fucking excited.
I played the shit out of the demo level of this game because I played it in 2004 was the first time I played it, because that's when Knights of the Old Republic 2 came out, and that's on that disc for the game for the Xbox 360. It had like a little demo on there for Republic Commando, and it was just the last part of the first level. So this game has 3 levels for those who don't know. Really, it's only 3 levels that are kind of broken up into this big story.
Yeah.
But the last part of the first level was on the demo disc of KOTOR 2, and I played the shit out of that demo.
Yeah.
I think I probably played that demo. God, I played so much of it. I probably put hours into that one level because I thought it was the coolest thing on the planet.
That was my least favorite part of the game, but
I love that part.
I think my only memory of this game is just going over to a friend's house in high school, and they were already playing it on the Xbox, and I was like, hey, what's this? And they're like, it's a new Star Wars game. I'm like, cool, pass me that joy. And then I went to a galaxy far, far away.
That was funny. I remember when this game came out, I'd wanted to play it. I know I had an Xbox around this time, and I'm pretty sure I bought it. I know I bought an Xbox at some point, but I never got around to playing. It was about 3 to 4 years ago. I sat down, got it on Steam in one of those Humble Bundle packs, and I played it for maybe an hour, and I got stuck early on, and I just kind of gave up. So I was excited when we put it on the list because I really wanted to go back to this game.
I was super excited to play it again because anyone who knows me knows I fucking love Star Wars.
This is a great Star Wars game, and there's no Jedi, which is nice.
There's no Jedi, yeah, which is also why I really like it, because I love Star Wars, and I like when Star Wars can take a break from the whole like good evil dichotomy argument to say, hey, let's just talk about some other stuff going on.
Do we count the Yoda cameo? I mean,
no.
We're not playing as Yoda; he's just there.
Yeah, and this game is no longer canon because of that. That is the only reason this game can't be canon.
Really?
What about the Jedi Straylock cameo?
Jedi Straylock cameo.
Yeah, I remember that. No.
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
I'm sorry.
I'm lost.
I was trying to think he's making a stalker reference or not.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. But
it would be funny if Straylock did show up. He's just like moping in the corner, just some weird Russian.
Get out of here, Commando!
I saw all my friends die in the zone. You're like, we gotta fight these droids, Straylock.
One thing I do remember this game came out. This was our first introduction to episode 3 coming up. Because we had this was kind of like supposed to be a little bit like, I remember them talking about this would be a little bit in between coming up to episode 3. I mean, it wasn't much, which we'll get more into later, but I thought that was interesting. Like, this was one of those things that came out and was marketed pretty huge, if I remember correctly, in that time.
Oh yeah, because when the prequels were coming out, they were also coming out with, I mean, each movie had its like probably 3 or 4 games. And then each movie also had like their specific game. So there was a Clone Wars game that came out around the same time. I also really enjoyed, but I mean, Republic Commando is kind of elevated above all the others in my mind.
One is a very good first-person shooter with squad-based type tactics where you can tell your troops to go man the turret or stand there and throw grenades or move around. I mean, it handles very well. And I like any game where if I die, I can go have other people come and revive me instead of just like, oh, game over, you're done.
What I found funny was at this playthrough, I really enjoyed not doing much in this playthrough, where I would tell my troops to like man a bunch of turrets and hold up in like certain areas, and then I would go deactivate the thing instead of telling one of my troops to do it. I'd be like, I'm going to go over here and deactivate this. Give me like a minute. You guys just guard me.
I did that a lot too.
The thrilling gameplay of holding down E for like
solid
10, 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Hey, there's one that's like a minute and 1 second for some reason.
I saw that.
Minutes the longest.
A minute and 1 second is the longest.
Okay.
There's one, for whatever reason, they aren't just a minute. They're a minute and 1 second.
Yep.
As you were saying earlier, this game is broken up in 3 parts, but we should jump into first you have a little introduction where you see yourself kind of growing up real fast. I think you start out in like the tube or something, little baby hands. And then
you're on that water planet that Obi-Wan went to and fought Jango Fett. Whatever that planet is called.
Oh, what to say? Oh man,
it's
Camino. Yeah, Camino.
I looked it up. Did you, Morgan, or did you know it?
No, I knew.
It's like the least important planet.
It's great
in terms of Star Wars.
No
one gives a shit about Camino.
No one gives a shit about episode 2.
It's all about Moraband.
What?
Moraband is okay. So in Star Wars canon, there was Korriban with no D at the end. Korriban, and that was like an ancient Jedi or an ancient Sith world, and it was like turned into a desert and covered in ruins. And for whatever reason in the canon, they said, "Hey, it's not Korriban anymore. Now it's Moraband." And there's no desert. It's just a black planet. And it's not a separate planet. It definitely is Korriban. And it got renamed to Moraband because George Lucas.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's like one of the dumbest little changes. Yeah, that was in Clone Wars Season 5, because that's when Yoda is learning how to do like the Force Ghost shit.
And I don't remember any of that.
Well, it should be said that Republic Commando, now it takes place outside of canon, because at the end you're leaving Kashyyyk with Yoda, when in reality the last level is the Battle of Kashyyyk, where the clones turn on Yoda, so he wouldn't be leaving with him.
I thought it was pronounced Kashyyyk.
I always said Kashyyyk as a kid, and
me too.
I still say Kashyyyk, but I know a lot of people pronounce it Kashyyyk.
I say Kashyyyk too.
I think part of the problem is that the main people who say it are the clones, and they all have New Zealand accents. And so every time they say something, it might not be the most accurate portrayal of how you say that word.
They call each other brews instead of bros. What's up, brew?
I think they call it like Kashyyyk in the Star Wars Holiday Special, but take that for whatever, however you will.
It's funny you mentioned that holiday special. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We are. At some point later on, we're going to do it.
Another funny thing is because I was playing this game, I had to also play Knights of the Old Republic 2, because they're tied. Well, yeah, they're tied in my brain. If I play one, I've got to play the other. That's not necessarily true. If I play Republic Commando, I have to play Knights of the Old Republic 2. If I have to play Knights of the Old Republic 2, that's all I'm going to do. But in Knights of the Old Republic 2, there's a good quote where like one of your bounty hunter characters that you pick up, one of your companions says, she's talking about a Wookiee, and she's like, He's from some planet that's impossible to say. It has a K and a bunch of Y's in it, and it sounds like full of phlegm whenever you try to say it. And I always thought that line was funny because I was like, I can say Kashyyyk pretty easily. It's not that hard to remember Kashyyyk or Kashyyyk. It's like, it's impossible to say. It's got so many Y's in it. You mean 2?
It has 3 Y's.
It has 2.
I could have swore it was 3 Y's. Now I need to answer my own question.
It has 1 Y. It has 2 Y's. It has 1 Y, I think, when it's spelled in like the holiday special or something.
It has
but
3
they also
Y's.
pronounce it weird in holiday special. They say like Kashyyyk.
That's because the holiday special is terrible.
Yeah.
But the first level, after you get done with a little bit of training and a little opening, is it starts off right at near the end of episode 2, where you're in the Geonosis battle.
Yeah, the first level is the end of the Clone Wars. It's the Battle for Geonosis.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. Sorry.
I call it Clone Wars 2 all the time until I realize.
I try to forget that it exists. So
it's a terrible movie. Let's just say that it is. Like, I like Phantom Menace a lot. I don't like Revenge of the Sith, but I will say it is a good movie. I just don't like it. But that's on me, not on the movie.
I don't think it's a good movie, but I still will watch it.
2 is just garbage.
I'm that Star Wars fan that
pretty bad. I
hate 50% of Star Wars, but I'll still watch everything Star Wars. Or I'll be like, Attack of the Clones is garbage. Ooh, Attack of the Clones is on TV.
I haven't seen it in... I watched all the movies when Force Awakens was coming out. I went back and I remember that was my first time rewatching them all. I remember Attack of the Clones. I was like, oh.
It's not great.
No. He doesn't like sand. Sand is rough.
Sand is coarse.
It gets everywhere.
Coarse, and it gets everywhere.
Unlike you're soft or something like that. I'm pretty sure.
You're not like sand.
Ooh.
And not a sand creature.
Jesus Christ.
That I met when I was 9 and you were like 15. That's definitely not weird.
They don't teach romance classes on Tatooine to orphans, guys. Okay.
Or the Jedi
he wasn't an orphan. He was a slave. Get it right.
Yeah,
well, he was an orphan, basically.
He had a mom for a while.
He was a slave who got orphaned. Check your privilege.
Yeah, he didn't get orphaned until he was like 16. I don't know if that still counts.
I might still count as an orphan, but
he was also emancipated. He became a Jedi.
He had a father figure though. He had Obi-Wan.
I thought you were going to say he had a father.
I think of him as more of a brother figure, really.
Maybe that's more accurate.
Yeah, he calls him my brother multiple times when he's screaming at him over the lava. You were my brother, Anakin.
Oh man, I
loved you.
Even though I met you when you were 8 and I was 27. I want to go chill with my wife.
It's just terrible. But that whole movie, I just fucking hate Attack of the Clones. But I also really don't like the Geonosis level. Like I really enjoyed this game. The Geonosis level was just like you're running around on Geonosis and you're fighting. What the hell are those things called? Or they're just called Genosians? Oh, well, they didn't really go too far with that one. I didn't like them. Like, I didn't mind the basic ones. I didn't like the elite soldiers, the ones that had the fucking
those things are the hardest enemy to beat in the game.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
That's why they're there at the end.
Yeah, they show up. They're like 3 of them show up at one point at the end.
I was not happy with that.
Destroy you.
I mean, no enemy really gave me... I mean, most enemies in this game, they give me too much trouble. Stuff. Super battle droids, man. I mean, the movies, they make them look like nothing.
Yeah, you just got to focus them. You got to focus fire on them, and then they're not too bad.
I didn't do that all the time. I would do it sometimes, but it's just funny. Like in the movie, super battle droids, they just knock them down like nothing. But when you fight them in this game, they're like, oh, these things can take a beating.
Well, in the movie, they were Jedi. In the game, you're just a stupid clone.
But hey, you're a better clone.
/ the best clone ever.
You are. But I like the part when you do run into some of the regular clone soldiers and they're like, they insult you because you're better than them or something like that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, here comes the Delta Squad. Everyone get out of the way. And you're just like, damn right, get out of the way. I'm about to kill fucking everybody on Geonosis.
I think it specifically references his extra training as a bad thing somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the back tanks.
Look at the Delta Squad that knows how to do everything better than us. It's like, yeah, we do. I mean, what do you want?
What a bunch of assholes. He's like, I am saving your life.
It should have been a line where like he like goes over and grabs one of the regular troopers and he's like, look, I was a baby. I didn't get to choose.
None of them got to choose.
Yeah, but so the clone troopers you play as, Boss, Scorch, Fiver, and Sev are like normal troopers who got taken aside when they were being when everyone was being trained. They got extra training from 2 Mandalorian mercenaries, and they got like extra implants and a bunch of stimulants and shit.
And they can use Bacta.
And they actually show up in the Clone Wars show.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they are canon characters. Despite the game not being canon, Delta Squad is canon. They meet Obi-Wan at some point.
Hey, that is super cool. I want to watch that episode. I'm going to have to rewatch Clone Wars when Disney gets it here.
They just look like ARC troopers, though. They call them by name, but they just have like regular ARC trooper armor. They don't have the cool, like specific colored armor.
I really like their armor. I like the one with the guy who looked like it was like a bloody hand on his helmet.
Sev, yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Sev, short for 7.
Yeah. I feel like they didn't have any specialties, right? Like
no, they all had like they were all advanced like computers and demo guys.
There are implications. Sev is supposed to be like a close quarters guy, and I think Fixer's supposed to be their explosive expert.
Fixers,
and then Scorch is a smart ass or something.
Scorch is Scorch was like their like vanguard, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he burned the enemies with his cutting words.
Yeah, because it comes with his cutting words. Damn you, Geonosians! He's gotten us.
Geonosians. And I love the melee in this game. I love especially when you have like the regular rifle and you just stab him with a little knife. That was awesome.
I thought that was the coolest shit on the planet when I was a kid. You punch him, cool. A little knife comes out of your sleeve, and I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
You just stab him right in the face. Like, I use that a lot on Super Battle Droids. I would just get in their face and just start punching them.
Yeah, if there's like 1 or 2 Super Battle Droids, you have enough health to just tank it and fucking get in their face and walk around them. They couldn't do anything. It was great.
I think you're actually right. Scorch's main thing was that he was the wisecracker. So he was... he was the demo expert. Of course.
You guys get it? Because he burns you.
Scorch, also played by Cartho Nassi. The same voice actor for Cartho Nassi from the first Knights of the Old Republic was playing Scorch, which I thought was really fun. If this game came out today, it'd be Nathan Fillion.
They gave me very strong ODST vibes and Firefly vibes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this game really like just screams like Halo Reach and ODST. That little ensemble of kind of weird characters all coming together.
I really want to play Halo Reach again, especially after this game.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, Sev is basically
coming to PC.
Oh yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah, it's But
I don't know.
The other thing I want to say is I liked how your weapon, like you have like the different attachments for your regular rifle, which I didn't like the sniper weapon. I only used it sometimes. I couldn't remember how to zoom. I didn't care. I would just make them snipe. I don't like sniping. I'm like, you know what? You go snipe soldiers. I'm going to go run and shoot everybody in the face.
The sniper was great for Super Battle Droids. It really
used a lot for them.
Yeah, because it also staggered them almost every time you hit them.
They would like prop them down to their knees, and it was just easier to take them down.
I just couldn't get over how much Super Battle Droids, because you have the regular Battle Droids, which are freaking useless. Like, I mean, those guys are garbage. But then you have the Super Battle Droids, which they can kick some ass.
There's nothing quite like that, going down with a Super Battle Droid right on top of you and watching it slowly eliminate your entire squad as they come to revive you.
Yeah, so you don't die immediately in this game either. You get knocked down, and you like 3 little options come up on the screen where it's like, okay, you can load your last save, or you can have your troopers like continue what they're doing, and once they're done clearing a room, they'll come get you, or you can try to get them to come get you immediately, which is like always a gamble. It's like, ooh, how in danger am I?
For me, it was always a thought of like, how well did I micro my soldiers? Did they have them all set up in a good place where they can actually do damage, or are they just wandering around the battlefield? Because if they're just wandering, I better have them come get me real quick, otherwise they're going to be useless.
How many people use the optional weapons, like the extra?
I did. Yeah. I really liked the shotgun. I found
shotgun
was the only really strong one that you could reliably keep ammo for.
That was my favorite weapon.
Shotgun.
God, did jack shit against Super Battle Droids, though.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Oh, yeah. Shotgun is great for the Transdoshans. Any Transdoshan you can take out immediately with shotgun.
Yeah, awesome.
The what's weird to me is I really like using the SMG, the little Transdoshan SMG.
Yeah.
That only has like a gun. Yeah, it's a little like Scorpion type gun.
60 round, 30 round magazines, and it fires at the rate of a fucking a garden hose. Just
it's great. Also great against the Transdoshans, but against the regular, normal, like run-of-the-mill battle droids, it does jack shit, which I found really funny. Yeah. I always thought that was funny.
I mean, like that's one thing I thought was interesting is like when you get the weapons that aren't laser rifles, essentially, they're good against the Trandoshians, but they're useless against battle droid. And I thought that was a cool switch where I had to actually kind of change up my ammo depending on what I was fighting.
Well, it's balanced really well where whatever weapon the enemy is carrying, like whatever extra weapon they have, it's really good against them. So if you're on a level with a bunch of battle droids, or if you're on a level with a bunch of Trandoshians and they drop that little SMG or that shotgun, then you can just rely on that.
Yeah.
But once you switch to the battle droids, it's like, oh, I got to switch back to a different kind of gun.
I found myself hoarding the ammo I got for my DC-17. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. I found myself hoarding that ammo because I'd always be worried that I'd run out and just wouldn't be in quite the right place to get a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
It just really fucked with me. I'm really glad that the ammo pickups for them were 0 to 100 every single time. They didn't have like, oh, you get a mag here and a mag there. It's just, here's 300 rounds.
Yeah, they were really good with the ammo. And the pistol wasn't that bad. Like, there were times when I ran out of ammo. And
the pistol is so nice because the pistol doesn't run out of ammo. It just, like, charges up to reload.
Yeah.
And it does a shitload of damage. It acts more like a DMR than a pistol, honestly.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Halo Combat Evolved's pistol, actually.
Yes, exactly.
Another thing I thought that was kind of funny, because I remember when you see episode 1 and then the destroyer droid, the droidecas come rolling out, they're like, oh crap, destroyer droids. And I remember always thinking, oh man, those things are so powerful. But in this game, I mean, they were powerful, but they didn't strike fear in me like a super battle droid. I was like, oh, droideca, okay, I'll go punch him in the face a little bit.
They did when I was out of grenades.
One gets you alone and you just fucked.
I didn't have too much of a problem with them.
Or once again, you go down in front of one and then...
Yeah. And you just watch it like take a little step forward on like right on top of you, and you're like, "Well, time to reload, I guess."
Yeah, I just thought it was just funny because in that first movie they make them seem like really vicious, and then in the second movie when they introduce super battle droids up, and when you play this game, you're like, "Oh, those are a lot worse."
Yeah,
those why they're called super.
It's like the same naming principle as like again Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
the battle droid. This is the super battle droid.
every episode
we got to mention Dragon Ball Z.
What was the droid? What was the huge droid that comes out and like you have to shoot it directly right in its face?
That was like the super commie battle droid.
Okay. that droid, when I was fighting it, literally turned around itself into the corner and just stayed there. It totally glitched out, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And I had to go like jump. I had to like bend down in the corner and barely be able to shoot it in the face just to get past that part.
At one point, I was going up a hallway, like a set of stairs that were a hallway, pretty tight quarters, and it's a 90-degree turn. On the back half of the 90-degree turn, there was 2 battle droids, or super battle droids. And for some reason, every time I went up those stairs, instead of being like, "Oh, open up on the squad," it was just, I'm dead immediately. Like this, I probably had half a second every time to do anything. I threw a grenade up there; it stunned them as well as me and all my troopers. So I couldn't do anything. I think I reloaded my save like 6 times on that set of stairs.
Yeah,
Stefan, to accurately answer your question, that was the ADSD Advanced Dwarf Spider Droid.
Okay, yeah,
look it up because you see the normal spider droid in the beginning on Geonosis. There's like the normal spider droid outside the cave, and that gets blown up. And you're like, "Oh, that was cool," and then you never see one of those again for the rest of the game.
Oh man, it was so...
we firmly departed from the movies at this point. Goodbye.
It's like they built it to get blown up, which I really appreciate. They put a lot of effort into building this one giant droid that gets blown up just to look cinematic as fuck.
Well, also kind of go with episode 2. That was a big part of that too.
Mm-hmm.
If they're in episode 2 in their first scene, they wanted more to connect it with that second Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Or, it was a good question that they asked, or that was answered in this movie that movie game that I don't think was ever answered in the movies was the cleaning droids. Mm-hmm. You never get to see where they go, and in this game, you get to go into those little like hideaways where they come out of.
They're not called they're mouse droids.
Mouse droids, yeah.
Yeah, mouse droids. Really? And I always wondered, like, where do they go? How do they function? And this game answers that question.
They're like little Roombas that live in the vents.
I think
Yeah.
they had several.
There's
different-
actually, I think that shows up in the Clone Wars TV show as well. I think there's a point where like Ahsoka is climbing through some vents and a mouse droid goes flying by.
That sounds.
Oh, nice.
I did really like when the mouse droid, at one point you're crawling through those vents and the mouse droid goes around a corner, runs into a scavenger bot.
Oh yeah, it goes flying back.
Runs away.
Like those tiny droids freaking out is always hilarious to me. You go around the corner and come back. Beep, 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 beep.
I would shoot when I'd see an R2 unit. I would just blast them just because.
This game
I
also
didn't
had the famous Gonk
Oh, okay.
droid, which is just the stupidest fucking thing.
That's the thing with the feet, right? It's like a bigger mouse droid, but it has the stupid
Yeah,
feet.
it's a box with feet.
Yeah.
I believe it's actually supposed to be a garbage can bot.
It's a
Kind of
power.
deal?
It's a battery. It's a walking battery.
Is it a battery? Okay.
Yeah.
That
They're
makes
like
sense.
little
I do love
tiny
that
power
in the
generators.
original, in the first Star Wars movie, it did actually say Gonk.
Yeah, they just went and everyone was like, "Oh, that sounds like Gonk. We'll just call them Gonk."
That's a Gonk droid now.
And that language they speak is actually legitimately called Gonkian now.
Oh no!
Gonk.
So much thought put into that.
That's the
You gotta
70s.
love Legends.
I actually do. I mean, I am a little bummed that this is. I mean, nothing really happens in the story of this game. I mean, it's a fun game, but it doesn't play that big of a difference other than, like you said, that last cutscene. Like in the beginning, Geonosis, I know you're hunting some Genosian leader or something.
Sun Fek.
Yeah, which I feel like you did kill him. Yeah, you kill him, then that's about.
Yeah, well, no, you don't kill him. You chase him all the way to his ship, and then some other guys kill him.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Classic.
chase him all the way to his ship. He activates like a force field, gets on his ship, and he goes to fly away. And all your guys are like, "Well, shit, we fucked up." And then his ship just blows up, does a 180 in the sky, and flies back down into the landing pad and explodes. And you're like, "Oh, cool, I guess we did get him." And then you realize that no, you didn't get him. It was actually General Grievous.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that also, like, this is the first time anyone saw General Grievous, because this came out about a month and a half before Episode 3.
yeah.
And General Grievous, you don't fight him, but he's in this game. You just see him with his cloak on at one point.
I think he's in the Tartakovsky show. Was that before this? Or
Oh,
after?
he's in that? Never mind. Then maybe that was his first. That came out in
That was 2003.
2003. Yeah, this
Yeah,
game's
so that was
2005. So,
before-
yeah. I forgot about that show.
But this game has the Battle of Kashyyyk in it, which takes place in Episode 3, and it came out before Episode 3. So clearly they had some idea what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was one of the big
Doesn't quite go the
selling
same.
point.
I'm pretty sure Kashyyyk was at war, or at least had separatists on it for most of like the entirety of the Clone Wars. Like,
It's kind
It
of
was a-
implied that like people are going after the Trandoshans have always gone after the Wookiees because they buy their pelks. They pelks? I can't even speak now. They buy their
Pelks.
pelks.
Ah!
we're fine. We're not
That's
doing
a normal
some
thing
kind
on
of
the show.
podcast or anything. We're good.
Yeah, it's good. It's not like I speak for,
It's normal.
for a job or anything, you know.
Hey, at least were there? Hey, but you know what's wrong about this game? This game didn't have any holograms. There were no holograms. Well, I guess there were the holograms. Yeah, with the clone troopers and Yoda,
Yeah,
but there was no Jabba to make him a hologram.
I was so
Wait.
confused as to what you were saying for a second.
Hubogram? What?
Yeah. Instead of hologram.
I had to make the joke.
I really
Oh.
wanted. I just want a cameo with Jabba, and he just cues in, and it was just like, "How did you get this number?"
You do
Oh,
talk
damn
to
it,
the ever indispensable Clone Advisor 1.
That was his
He's like-
name.
I
That was
love
his
in a
name, yeah.
game. In a game where the squad leader's name is 38, you have a clone advisor number 1.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
It's one of those games.
He actually does have like a official name. I think his official name is actually like CC01. Like he was the first Clone Advisor.
Nice.
So he is just called like 1 or something.
And he doesn't get assigned to Alpha, Beta, or Charlie Squad. He gets assigned to Delta Squad.
Because he's Clone Advisor. So he's just the overseer.
I know. But he doesn't like, I don't know.
Oh no, he doesn't get like an official. No, he's just CC.
I feel like he was the
So-
one kind of like sending. I mean, I'm wondering if he was the guy who was working with other groups or just Delta Squad. I'm assuming there's other groups too.
Yeah, usually it's
Oh.
implied within the show and stuff that they're acting like the military intelligence, so they're looking at the map and sending people where they need to go. And then like the Clone Advisor 1 is probably dedicated specifically to like operating with Delta Squad
Okay.
as like a forward advanced squad here. because Delta Squad goes in before everybody else.
Oh, one thing we haven't mentioned yet. We talked a little. We mentioned before this game broken up into 3 parts, but the second mission is when I really started to fall in love with this game.
Second mission, it's so cool.
I love the second mission. That was my favorite of the 3 because it starts out. It felt like you're in. Oh, it's gonna kill me. It felt like you're in a horror movie at first because you're getting sent into the ship. And it's just like all the lights aren't working, and you're walking through vents, and you hear things, and then you see dead clone troopers, and I'm like,
aliens.
Oh yeah. It's absolutely aliens. What's cool about that is it sets it up too, where the first mission ends with you got like your squad saying, "All right, guys, let's pack it up and get back to the prosecutor," and then the next mission starts, and you're on the prosecutor, but it's like a year later, and you've been away for God knows how long. Well, I guess a year. But doing missions. You've been away doing missions, and you come back to the prosecutor for a mission because it's been like abandoned, and you've been sent to investigate it, which I always thought was a really cool like time skip.
Yeah, that is a good transition.
It fits also the fact, like, especially at this time, you didn't have the Clone Wars TV show yet, but you did have that little I know I'm going to pronounce it wrong, Tarkovsky. Yeah, little shorts that you had going on that
just stumble over the first syllable.
that separate, give you some Clone Wars background, which were still canon at the time of this game.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, like for me, I just watch the movies. I'm like Clone Wars. I'm like that's just a terrible movie. Then you move on. But
yeah, like say what you will about the prequels, they gave us some of the best Star Wars games, some of the best games I think ever. Like if the prequels didn't exist, we wouldn't have Knights of the Old Republic or Knights of the Old Republic 2. We wouldn't have Republic Commando. We wouldn't have had Battlefront 2.
Yeah, but what about Dark Forces, Stu?
We wouldn't have had Dark Forces.
Dark Forces is way before that. That's the 90s.
But
we would have only had Dark Forces.
Would have only had it, yeah.
Yeah, so if the prequels never happened, we'd be playing EA's Dark Forces 2.
But I love that. And when you first find out what's killing all the clone troopers, it's these little, like, annoying, baddie-looking droids.
The most fucking... I take it back. Those are the most annoying enemy in the game.
They're easy to kill. Droids. And it's cool when they grab you, though, and you got to tap the melee button, and they just start grinding at your face, trying to eat you, trying to kill you.
They just fucking annihilate your health, though.
Yeah, they can if you're not fast enough at mashing that button.
At one point, one like took away all but one sliver of my health, and I hit up the back to tank. And as soon as I left the back to tank, one attacked me again, and I had to hit it up immediately afterwards. It's like I turned around and one was on my fucking face.
I like it when they grab your squad mates and you're like, get this thing off me.
That also was really cool to me as a kid because I was like, oh my god, like my friends are being actually attacked by the enemy, and I can help them out or like just trust that they'll deal with it eventually.
I just let them deal with it. One of my favorite thing when the other clone troopers, when they would grab a Trandoshan and like just like either it looked like they were slitting his neck or something, they would just beat the shit out of him. I love that when they grab him, like throw him or something like that. They would do something cool. I felt like with a knife.
There was some random. There were some weird little kills in this game, like with enemies, where they just like shoot like a soldier in the face with a shotgun or something, like right in front of you. Yeah, it was neat. It was neat to see that, even for that day.
You get that nice little. That's how you build a story there. But you get to see the bad guys doing bad stuff, and you're like, "Yep, those are definitely the bad guys."
It felt very cinematic.
I don't feel bad about murdering them wholesale anymore because they killed one of my friends.
I was also on the second level. You're split up from everybody. It's like it's just, which I thought was cool too. I didn't like it, but you're split up from the rest of the team, and you don't know what you're fighting. All of a sudden, you can't hear from this guy, or you're having radio problems. And I thought that was so cool when they introduced it. And all of a sudden, you start fighting these little lizard guys.
That's the part of the game that really feels like ODST. It's like ODST starts the same way, where you're separated from your squad, and you have to go find them, and that's the entire second mission.
Oh.
I've never played ODST, by the way. That's one of the ones I never got around to finishing.
It's gonna be on PC soon.
It's not very long.
I'm not gonna lie. ODST is probably the single best Halo experience I've ever had.
Reach, my friend. But anyway.
I really like Reach. Don't get me wrong, but I liked ODST better.
That's really cool.
I'm excited for the PC version of those games coming out.
I'm just happy to play Halo 2 again.
Me too. Yeah.
I love Halo 2 so much.
That's the other thing. This was actually this is my first good shooter I played on the PC ever. I had to lower the mouse sensitivity.
Oh
a couple
god,
times.
the mouse sensitivity is so fucking high to start.
Okay,
with.
so it wasn't just me that I was like, "Wow, I'm not used to controls," or it was really freaking sensitive at first.
Oh, I had forgotten about it
is,
because I had it uninstalled. So when I reinstalled it, my mouse, like, you move your mouse a little bit and it goes flying across the screen. And you're like, oh shit.
I think it's specifically a disconnect between the FPS features of the game and the menu features. It's something to do with the scaling about how the mouse actually interacts in those two modes is totally borked. Because if you adjust your sensitivity to be good in the menu, it'll be totally screwed when you get to the game.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I think the menu is not meant to be used with the mouse. So.
Oh yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's I think you could use the entire menu with your arrow keys.
Yeah, you can. It's more annoying, but you can.
I do got to say though, the controls are a lot more fluid than the last time we played a Star Wars game on this show.
This is true. You know? And also, like, a little dated, but not too bad in terms of a control scheme, or at least for a keyboard, mouse and keyboard.
It felt on keyboard and mouse. I mean, it felt perfect. I mean, I was a little clunky a couple times, but that wasn't the game's fault. That was my fault. Like, I don't have a mouse pad. I had to cut part of a box from beer and use that as a mouse pad because I didn't want to go get one. It worked.
Yeah, we're playing the Star Wars today, boys.
So you're like Saul Guerrero, like around Rogue One, where he's got shit just rubber banded to his body. It's like barely breathing.
It was because my mouse has been working just fine on my tabletop, but then all of a sudden it didn't want to work for this game. So I
found a mouse pad. It's a cardboard box. Save the cardboard box. Do it, Jen.
Why does that sound like Keanu Reeves to me? It's like a Keanu Reeves impression. I don't know why, but it did.
Save the dream.
Keanu Reeves is it's similar, but it's more skater, like surfer lingo in there. Whoa.
Maybe that's because I've been watching too much Matrix lately.
Yeah, to save the box, Jen. Whoa.
Too much Matrix. You've been watching more Matrix?
I watched all 3 Matrix movies.
Hey, they're talking about making a 4th one.
No.
Are they? No, please, no.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
No.
I welcome that.
Like, as long as it's more like, if it's
the
more
Matrix,
like anthology
Sword Art
stuff,
Online edition.
I'm totally fine with them doing more like anthology stuff or doing an entirely different story. If they come out and they say like, oh, it's going to be more Neo Trinity shit, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't want more of that either. But back to Republic Commando.
Back to Star Wars.
When you're fighting the Trandoshan, I love the ones that have like a little to me it looks like German helmets with little goggles. I love punching them in the face and knocking the helmet off or shooting them. Oh, it made me so happy.
See, I would run up to them with the SMG and blast them just enough to knock the helmet off and then melee them.
But
opposite.
I loved it too when they would pull out the little knives in their back, like okay, and they'd be coming out to get you. Oh, yeah. That made me smile, and I just punch them.
They were change.
And also, one thing that was real nice, I feel like for a good first half of the ship level, there are no damn super battle droids. Like you're not fighting droids, you're just fighting Trandoshians.
Like the whole first section of that mission. I would say, I guess, like that's each mission is like a 10-part mission. It's like short little 10 parts. The whole first 2 parts of that, I think you kill like 2 enemies,
which was nice. It was a nice. After Genosha, where I was kind of getting a little burned out with things, it was
you
nice
said it differently every single time you said it. Geonosis.
It's not my word. Not
a word. A whole season of the Clone Wars there. Get it right.
I haven't watched Clone Wars in years.
It's not my word. It's nobody's word. It's a fake. It's a fake language.
It's Lucas's word.
It's a fake language in a fake universe.
It's like Ocarina.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
God, we make a lot of references to old stuff.
We're a bunch of dorks.
Yes, we are. But I really I enjoyed everything about that second level, especially when you reunite with your team and you just feel so damn good after you've been running around by yourself for like about an hour or so, or maybe less.
You suddenly feel incredibly powerful as a squad.
Oh yeah. I missed it. I'm like, I missed these guys. Like I really did because they're so nice to have.
And you spend that awesome segment where you like are reclaiming the hangars of the ship, and you basically like come into every hangar and set your guys up and do a bunch throw a bunch of little demolition charges down.
It was fun and engaging, but that was a very tough part of the game in some cases.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you missed something. Like I missed one of the super battle droid dispensers, and I didn't find it till it dispensed like 20 super battle droids. I walked near it and I'm just like, and I'm dead. I got nothing.
You walk around the corner and suddenly you hear 30 robots say audio noise detected.
Even though like that part was hard, the hardest part for me was in the end of the bug planet when you have that like 2 minute or 3 minute time limit. You have to like go in and then do that 1 minute and one hacks, that slicing. That part took me the most tries.
Oh yeah, it's totally easy to miss too, where they're like, all right, you've got 5 minutes, and in my brain I'm thinking, okay, this is like a Mass Effect 5 minutes where it's gonna keep playing like cinematics and it's not actually gonna be 5 minutes. No, when the guy says 5 minutes, you have 5 minutes, a hard 5 minutes to get to the end of the level.
And that's when I learned how to switch grenades, because I could not get through that part. I'm like, okay, I know I got other grenades in this game, and then that's when I looked up a manual.
I barely got through that part. Like, I got like the most cinematic ending because all my guys were on like dark orange, about to go down. We were all like bleeding out, running to the ship. I was like backing up and shooting. I was like suppressing fire. Come on, get to the ship.
That part was hard, but that was the hardest part for me in the game by far.
Is that cool Star Wars ship the best ship from the prequels?
What, you're talking about the little loader thing?
The clone trooper gunships. I think those things are so cool.
Oh yeah.
I never cared. I don't like most things of the prequels, like for the ship wise. Most don't, especially the Separatist ships and everything to do with the droid. Just none of it's that cool. The coolest droid, in my opinion, is the destroyer droids. But I don't know.
I think there's like a lot of the prequels isn't good. I think all the ship design and world design is all pretty cool.
Yeah. Same.
Like being able to see Coruscant and just, it's not a great shot, but just being able to see like Coruscant and the thousands of ships that are in the air, like thousands of taxis. I always thought that was really give you like a sense of like how busy that planet was.
I mean, especially when you look at the first 3 movies, you never get you never get that. You're mostly on barren planets, Tatooine, Hoth, Ewok planet.
In terms of like that story, because like the busiest part of, I think even Cloud City, you don't see that many people. The busiest part of those movies is when you're in Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah,
it's just mercenaries and bounty hunters everywhere.
Which is honestly my favorite part of the entire original trilogy.
I mean, the prequels take that to the far extreme where they're like, okay, we now have the ability to show everything, so we're going to show everything, which is nice for people who want to see more of the world, but it doesn't really benefit the story at all, and at times it is a major disadvantage.
Yeah, but it was nice. It was nice to see more of the world.
The alternative to it, if you're going to Coruscant, is that you have like a couple of the main key buildings that are above the clouds, and then everything else is below the clouds. While that would have been nice in some respects, particularly concealing some of the seedier parts of the city, so that, like, for example, in was it Attack of the Clones or
Attack of the Clones, where they
crash into the city?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're chasing the bounty hunter shapeshifter.
That would have been cool to have that transition of like a bit of clouds and a bit of obscured sightlines, and then all of a sudden you're in like this fucking club district. That would have been neat. But
in my mind, everything about those visuals, it just serves as material for game developers to come in and make something really cool out of it. That's all that exists for. I mean, there's a part in Revenge of the Sith where. God, there's a part in Revenge of the Sith where Anakin is talking to Mace Windu, and they're just walking next to some, like, I think it's gunships. They're just walking down this series of clone trooper gunships. And despite them having this conversation where they're just walking from one place to another, they stop like 5 times in the middle of their walk to like emphasize the point. It's incredibly bad dialogue. It's incredibly bad screenwriting. But what it does is it allows you to see the gunships really close up. And then when I'm watching those scenes, I'm not watching it for the dialogue. I'm like, get out of the way, Anakin. I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah, stop there. Like, I want to see how many guns are in this.
That's what the books are for, that you can buy. They give you all the breakdown of all the ships and everything.
That's what the wiki is for.
That too now.
Who makes those books? Stephen Beasley?
A shitload of people.
I can't remember. I just remember my friend.
I think it was a primary illustrator. I'm not sure. I used to have a bunch of them, or at least I rented them from our school's library all the time because our school had those fucking books.
Nice.
I've got the thanks to Sam Mercer, another our listener and guest, who was so kind to give me a Star Wars Stormtroopers book, which has like a list of all the Stormtroopers and like concept art and stuff, their different designs throughout history. And what he didn't realize was like in the back of it, it has a bunch of replica like Stormtrooper like the backing for toys and stuff, and a bunch of old like it's got replications of storyboarding from the original movies, which is really cool. Yeah, I love that shit.
I think it'd be cool if there was like a training ground at the beginning of this game, and there's like one target all the way like at the far end, and nobody's hit it yet. They're just really close, like high-fiving each other when they get really close. Like, you almost got it. Yeah,
that would have worked.
Sorry. Yeah,
that definitely would have worked.
Like a little fun pun for this game. You know what I mean? A little levity.
I mean, the levity comes from all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Which we gotta talk about the dialogue.
What's happening?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I loved it. I played this game with sound. I had headphones in the entire time.
Thank God.
And I just listened to everything, and I enjoyed it.
Because holy shit, the dialogue is great. I mean,
yeah, it's hilarious.
One of the jokes in the game is that Fixer is like this kind of uptight military. Like, he's the uptight commando that wants everyone to fall in line, and Scorch and Sev are just constantly talking shit. Which is like everything Scorch says, especially being voiced by Carthonassi. Like, occasionally you'll shoot the Trandoshans with the the jetpacks, and they'll go flying up in the air, and you'll just hear one of your guys go, "Wee!"
I didn't know Trandoshans could fly.
Yeah,
that made me laugh when I heard that, especially the first time. Oh, that was funny.
30th time, not quite so much, but still pretty good.
Yeah, it was the dialogue still. I mean, like you were saying earlier, it did add levity to the fact that you were just in the fact that clones are completely expendable. I mean, you guys aren't exactly, but everyone's expendable. They don't care.
You see a lot of troopers get cut down, which I always really appreciated in the Clone Wars show, where you get to follow them and really see like from their point of view, and like even they realize that they're expendable, but it kind of lends to their character a lot more.
Oh yeah, I mean none of them have any real purpose other than to be fodder. Like, and they know that. It's just kind of they show. I mean, like you said, they really do show in the Clone Wars show. I mean, because you see them get murdered in that show.
Oh yeah,
they get cut down constantly. And so you get like it's always nice when you get like that little squad that you can follow along with and kind of really appreciate their more interesting personality traits. I think Republic Commando is kind of that, where you've got these 4 characters that all have like very unique personalities despite being clones. I'm trying to find the quote that's like, Boss says it, where he's like, he doesn't say like lay thermal charges down. He's like, it's time to redo some architecture.
Yep. That is one of the, That's
initiate radical restructuring, Commander.
Yeah, there we go. Whenever you tell them to go blow up something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a really cool game, and I'm just so glad I finally got to experience it after all this time. It was
glad I got to re-experience it.
I got to play it for the 50th time.
And one thing I also wanted to we're kind of getting there. Kashyyyk, however the hell you pronounce it. That planet was the least. Well, it was my second least. I liked it more than Geonosis, but not as much as the Prosecutor.
Did you like it more than Geonosis because it was easier for you to say?
No, I just because I like fighting. You fight a lot of the Trandoshians, and you start fighting the mercenary ones a lot in this place.
Those are definitely more fun for me to fight.
They're more fun to fight. Even the mercenary ones aren't bad because I can shoot them, get them in their face, punch them, job finished. And and they drop ammo.
Oh yeah, it's related more to like Halo. They're kind of like the grunts of this universe, and so it's just really fun to kill. Like Halo, one of the best things in Halo is just mowing down 30 grunts that all come running at you. I was like, you get that like fun little sense when their backpacks pop and they go flying off. There's a very similar feel in this game. Take them, just mow them down.
I also
perks are coming.
I thought I was interested with Kashyyyk because you're essentially the first troops to go to that planet to help out with the war.
Yeah, you're just sent in as a small little squad.
Which is cool. And then you're trying to help the Wookiees. Like your first mission is to rescue whatever the hell General Tarful.
Yeah, Tarfor.
And I thought that was kind of cool. And it was also on this planet when they first introduced General Grievous. Mm-hmm. And when you fight his Magna Guards, which I really enjoyed fighting them.
Yeah, they were cool.
They were a lot of fun.
You also have the Wookiee to help you out.
I like the Wookiees. I really like it when the Wookiees fight with you because, they get killed too, but I liked it when they're grabbing droids and Trandoshians.
Wookiee just grabs a battle droid by the fucking ankle and bashes it into another one. You're just like, oh, God.
I mean, when you come across Tarful, he grabs a battle droid and, chucks it off the edge. But when I say he chucks it off the edge, it's like a Team Rocket blasting off again type scenario. He just sends it to the fucking moon.
One of my favorite it was on Kashyyyk is when the Wookiee grabs a droid. It was a scripted procedure, but he grabs him and he shoves him on some spikes, or maybe it's a Trandoshan. I don't know what it was. He shoves it on spikes on the wall, and that was just awesome.
This I might go ahead and say I think this might be my favorite instance of like Wookiees in Star Wars because they just feel so much bigger than you. Every time you see a Wookiee in any Star Wars thing, it's usually from like a third person perspective. Where it's like a camera angle, where it's like kind of up above. Like whenever you see whenever you see Chewbacca and Han, like they always just look like buddy and friends. And Chewbacca's taller than him, but he's not like a fucking jacked giant compared to him.
I think canonically speaking, Chewbacca's a pretty small Wookiee.
Yeah,
I don't think it's very big.
And then you see like the Wookiees in Republic Commando, where the game's from a first-person clone perspective, and the Wookiees just look like they're twice as big as you.
Twice their height, yeah.
And they're like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the height of his bodybuilding career, they're just jacked. They're throwing battle droids and Trandoshans. You're like, oh, I think there's a great line where they're like, hey, let's just let the Wookiee do it. They're like trying to move a giant.
Oh yeah, you gotta have. And also, there's a line somewhere where they make a comment about the Wookiee pulling your arms out of your socket or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
There's a line in there.
There's a lot of like
rip some arms off.
Or there's like a line about Wookiees don't appreciate friendly fire.
So much of this game is in the dialogue, and it's just a fun game. It's a fun game to listen to.
That's why I'm glad I actually had sound for this one.
Like all the rules that they will list off occasionally. Like,
I wish I can't remember them now, but yeah, they were
39. Never say no to Bacta.
Oh yeah, that's the one you hear all the time.
One of my favorites is Rule 45. I think it's Sev who says it like towards the end of the game, I think, where he's like, any crash you walk away from is a good one.
Yeah.
It was, Kashyyyk was pretty fun. I mean, that level, that was definitely the longest of the three. But you go through a long process of kind of getting where you're headed and just doing lots of little things to help out the resistance and helping the Wookiees get together. And
I think part of that is that whole mission is like, it feels long, but I think that's because you go through a lot of different, like there's probably like 20 or 30 mini levels in that level.
Lots of loading points.
Yeah. You'll go through like an interior building and you'll just clear it out. And then the next loading will take you to the next building and then the next building. And then like outside a bridge. And then the next building is another loading point.
Oh.
Which I imagine this game.
It isn't as bad as it sounds. The loading in this game is still insanely
very fast. Yeah. I imagine it would have been much worse on like a console or something. Oh, yeah. Probably would not have been nice, but on
nothing compared to Blood loading.
Yeah, I mean it's like Rainbow Six Vegas loading, where it's like a second. You're just like, how the fuck did this game do this?
It didn't bother me. Like
this is 2003 here. What the hell happened?
It was a nice little break in between. Like, I didn't mind the loading. There were very few things. The only thing I really mind in this game were those fucking flying Genoshans with laser cannons.
Oh yeah, the flying Genoshans. They were awful.
And
they would just take you fucking down.
As we said before, I thought it was really cool the fact that this game was your first experience for Kashyyyk and getting you ready for the new movie coming out. Because that's another reason why that level is so big, is because you're getting, get everyone excited for the movie that's about to come out in 2 months.
Battlefront came out after this?
I don't know.
I
don't think I know Kashyyyk was in there too.
Yeah.
I think Battlefront.
Also, Knights of the Old Republic 1 came out before this, and Kashyyyk was the Knights of the Old Republic 1.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, you see how much I remember about that series.
I was familiar with Kashyyyk before this, but I do like I always like going to the Wookiee homeworld. Although it's not necessarily Wookiee homeworld. Apparently it's the third Wookiee planet. Because it's also called like Wookiee Planet number 3 or something.
And the first Battlefront 2 was 2005, it looks like.
That was the first Battlefront? That can't be right.
Or the first Battlefront 2.
Well, no, but before Battlefront 2, there was Battlefront.
Yeah, but
I also had Kashyyyk.
I don't want to say, if I say Battlefront 2, I could be talking about the 2017 one, not the 2005 version.
Well, you could be talking about the 2015 Star Wars Battlefront as well, right? Because there was also a 2015 Battlefront.
Yeah,
EA did Battlefront Remake and Battlefront 2 Remake. They did both of them. People don't talk about the first Battlefront for some reason. It's almost like it was bad.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was very forgettable. But
the original Battlefront from 2000.
The original came out in 2004. That had Kashyyyk in it, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
And then Knights of the Old Republic also had it. And I don't know when Knights of the Republic came out. Knights of the Republic 2 came out in 2004.
Okay, so I guess they were getting ready. Maybe I was wrong. I just remember when they were talking about this game and everything, that was one of the big selling points, was the fact that it connected to the next movie. So maybe that was just it.
Knights of the Old Republic came out in 2003.
God.
Yeah.
That was actually the reason. One of the reasons that was the reason my friend bought an Xbox, was to play KOTOR.
So 2003 to 2005, 2006. That was really like the golden age of Star Wars games.
There were some really good ones, like this one, for example.
Oh, like Commando, Battlefront 1 and 2.
What was the space one? The RTS?
Empire at War.
Empire at War.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
I've never played them, but I used to have them in that Humble Bundle. I lost access to, unfortunately.
You could put it on the list, Mike. If you want.
Did you not connect your Humble Bundle to Steam? That came out in 2006, so that was awesome.
No, when my old Steam account, unfortunately, I lost access to that because I got rid of my email at one point because of a crazy ex-girlfriend, and so I when I went and reactivated Steam like 3 years later, I realized I could not get back into that account. So I had to rebuy Republic Commando and a few of the other ones.
I think I had to do that too. So I feel your pain.
Wow, you know what else came out in 2005 and 2006 to make everyone feel fucking ancient? Lego Star Wars and Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy.
Oh,
wow.
Since you brought it up, Lego Star Wars 1 was the first time you got to play through Episode 3, essentially. I think it was right before Episode 3 came out, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think that was before the movie and the game came out, right?
Yeah, it's right
No, it wasn't before the movie came out, but it was before the game came out.
I thought before the movie, too. Or right.
Was it really?
I'm going to look it up.
That'd be really funny.
We make great radio, unprepared.
I just like the idea of them putting it out before the movie, like, no one gives a shit. But I don't know. Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005. Let's see. This came out in March.
March 29th. The movie came out May 15th. So yeah, it came out before. May 19th, United States.
Wow. So you could play through it.
Because I remember I bought Lego Star Wars early, and I remember playing through it and kind of seeing how the movie was and everything. I bought it for $40 on like close to release day.
Can you imagine if they did that today with everyone, like as intense as everyone gets about spoilers, if they came out with like a Game of Thrones game where you could play through the end of the show and the book before either were made? People would lose their shit.
They would never do it now, but back then things were different. Like licensed games were, even in 2005, I guess they were very different. Like
just the idea of spoilers, I guess, didn't fucking exist in 2005 and 6. At least not to the extent that they
not
do
for Star Wars. I guess everyone knew, like, you all know what's going to happen in Episode 3. Like, you know exactly.
I guess, that's a good point. It'd be hard to spoil Episode 3. Be like, he turns into Vader. What?
I didn't see that coming.
Lucas lied.
Even in, like, I always loved the first poster of Phantom Menace, or one of the first ones, where Anakin's walking in the shadow as Darth Vader.
I do love spoilers for things that, like, you either already know the ending or things based on reality. I love when people spoil that stuff. Like Chernobyl, everyone's like, oh man, Chernobyl's like so intense, and I was like, just being like, spoilers, the Soviet Union collapses.
I saw that comment that you had on Facebook. That was hilarious. That made me laugh.
It's a great one with like Titanic. It's like, spoiler, the ship sinks. Like, oh, come on.
Why you gotta be like that, man?
Yeah. Now I know what happens.
Bullshit. It comes back in Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah. Spoilers in Ghostbusters 2. They bust more ghosts.
God damn it.
You see Walter Peck's lack of penis.
Okay. What did you guys, because I know this came out, did you guys, any of you guys watch the Tarkovsky Clone Wars? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Used to watch that all the time. You know what? That's my favorite version of Mace Windu in that cartoon. He is an absolute badass.
I think I like the CGI one better, but it is really cool.
The CGI one is the only one I ever watched, and I don't want to go too deep into it in this episode, but I really did enjoy it too.
For everyone who hasn't watched the Tarkovsky, I don't want to call it a show. It's like a little mini series almost.
Yeah, that's better way to explain it.
Well, the first two seasons, the season 1 and 2 are 3 to 5 minute episodes. So it's like 20.
Yeah, I mean, when it aired on Cartoon Network the first time, it aired as they showed it all at once as a movie, I want to say.
No, it was first little shorts in between things, and then I think because there's 10 episodes for season 1, so that's 10 3-minute clips, 3 to 5 minute. Season 2 was 10, and then season 3 was 5 episodes that were like 12 to 13 minutes.
Okay.
Or 12 to 15.
Maybe when I watched, I think it might be on Netflix or something. Maybe when I watched it on that, it was all put together as one continuous story.
Yeah, on Netflix they did that.
It's really cool though. For anyone who hasn't watched it, it's just like it's like Clone Wars anthology stories, but it's done in the same style as like Samurai Jack.
Right.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, the animation was part of the reason why I never watched it. I don't like that style of animation at all. It just throws me off.
I appreciate it for existing because it was the first Star Wars show since I don't know if anyone knows that this existed. There was a TV show called Ewoks.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it was like in the mid '80s, and it was a cartoon about like the Ewoks just going on their everyday life. And I think at some point they like would fight stormtroopers in like wacky Looney Tunes-esque ways.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
That's Tartakovsky. Like, you talking shit.
Last episode we had, hey, Pikachu or something like that. My wife's phone went off. But so I guess it just fits with this weekend. Oh, you were saying before. Oh yeah, the Ewok show. There's also a couple Ewok movies too.
God, were there really?
Yeah, and my wife actually. It was funny. We were somewhere and we saw Star Wars something, and she was like, "Oh," and she knew what it was. It was from the Ewok movie, and the guy just kind of looked at her. It was so funny.
The Ewok. Yeah, I think my reaction would be like, I would try to figure out, like, okay, what kind of person are you? Did you watch this ironically, or did you watch this like because you were legitimately interested in it?
Well, it's like a kid. The Ewok one is a kids movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's you could say it's all for kids. Except for parts of the Clone Wars TV show with the CGI version, because that shit gets dark.
Oh yeah, I mean the first season is not that great, but when it gets going, it gets going.
Yeah, when it gets going, it turns into like Band of Brothers in space. Like people are fucking dying. I would not show that. I don't think I would show that show to a kid. It's like people are dying and like stormtroopers are going through like PTSD. It's like having to deal with the fact that they don't matter, and after the war is done, they'll probably just be like disposed of.
Game over, man. Game over.
Well, like, half of the Clone Wars stuff is, oh god, all my friends are dying, and then the other half is, oh god, like existential dread. What does life mean?
Clone Wars is a really good show, and I did enjoy that last season when they did what that Netflix did. I mean, we're still getting another season now.
We're getting a season 7 on Disney Plus. It is the main reason I'm going to get a Disney Plus account, at least for a month. Gotta watch that.
Disney Plus will also be like $5 or $6 when it releases at first.
Yeah, I think so.
They'll jump up real fast.
But they're not doing a free month. Probably smart, because I think they realize that a lot of people are just going to get it to watch like what they want and then cancel it. So
I can't wait for it. I got so many Disney things I want to watch I haven't seen in years. So I'm very excited. I wonder if they're going to have a holiday special on there.
Probably not. So answer me this, like, in the lore as it's written right now with current continuity, are the clone soldiers, once they like start running out of them, they just replace them with real people they train, right?
Train is a stretch. What they do is they continue using the clones, but every batch of clones is like worse. Like they start to deteriorate. That's how they explain that, like in the original trilogy, the clones just suck at fucking shooting. It's because clones have deteriorated to such a point that like they're just idiots. Basically, there's mindless soldiers, and so that's when they start switching to the First Order system, where they kidnap kids and brainwash them.
Oh,
which I mean, it's more effective than dumb clones, I guess, in terms of
because
if you're gonna start an evil empire, people.
I want to say it's 18 or 20 years. Episode 4 takes place after Episode 3.
I think it's 20 years between.
Okay.
I think it's 20 years 4, and then 20 years 7.
And then Finn's one of those like kids they kidnap. I can't remember his backstory.
Yeah,
they never really say.
In Force Awakens. No, he is, because in Force Awakens they even make a point to say, like, when he like kind of doesn't shoot at the village, they're like, oh, you need to show up at like a reassignment training where they're gonna like brainwash him again. They had like office brainwashing.
Right. They should have showed that.
It kind of like it's like a throwaway line in Force Awakens, But when you really think about that, it makes the whole like new trilogy fucking devastating because they are just mowing down the new Stormtroopers. And you're like, no, they're just brainwashed kids, please.
Yeah.
They're essentially child soldiers. Like this is not okay anymore.
It definitely adds weight to like what's going on in those movies. I wish they would have
movies. You could be like, oh, they were clones. Like they have no souls.
The Clone Wars really do add. The show really adds weight to the whole. Because I also think it's funny how, like, when you look at the original trilogy, the Clone Wars are just something they kind of mention in passing, and back then, like, oh, clones, and
I mean, they end the Clone Wars in Revenge of the Sith in the most like anticlimactic way possible, where the last Nemoidians are on like Mustafar, and Anakin just kills them. And it's like, oh wait, like I think even while I was watching the movie as a kid, I was like, wait, does that mean the Clone Wars are done? Is that the end of them? Like, he's killed the Jedi, and then he's killed the Nemoidians. Like,
do I clap now?
Is the separatist thing still going on? Is there still a civil war now?
Is there still a tariff war?
Yeah,
or whatever that thing was.
I also like how the Clone Wars also is now the name of like the separatist wars, which was going on since Phantom Menace.
Yeah, that one thing that everyone loves.
Clones weren't used until like the last half of the war. It'd be like if we called World War II like the nuclear bomb war.
Well,
until way later.
They really weren't at war with the separatists at first until Attack of the Clones. I feel like they were just having issues with them, but they weren't actually at war.
Phantom Menace is when the separatist engagement turns hostile.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like
they take out that one ship on that one planet, but the Republic wasn't really involved, just Naboo. I guess Naboo's part of the Republic, but they didn't have...
Naboo's part of the Republic, yeah.
Trade Federation or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole thing where they have to go over, like, in order to declare war, they have to go through the Republic Senate, and that's just a fucking mess because the Senate is like 7,000 planets. Like, I get... Okay, so this is the part where I slightly apologize for George Lucas because I understand what he was going for in the prequels, where he wanted to show, like, at least I can safely assume that, like, he wanted to show the Senate as being this really, like, not just corrupt, but completely ineffective group that couldn't do anything because there were just so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
It would be impossible for anyone to really vote on anything, like, realistically. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that the prequels just filled with a bunch of political garbage because it kind of gives you a reason for the Empire existing. As bad as it was, as bad as the execution was, I like the ideas of the prequels.
I enjoyed the first movie.
He didn't direct those, right?
He did direct those.
He wrote and directed them, and that was also part of the problem. Is that nobody was telling him you shouldn't do that. Nobody was
nobody was editing him. Yeah.
Which is why the original trilogy are so good because he had Steven Spielberg to say, "No, George, that's a stupid fucking idea."
And I mean, that was a lot. I mean, those movies just. Plus, there was so much hype leading into those movies that you couldn't have. As we're seeing now with the new trilogy, you can't really replace the original. Even though, like, I really like Force Awakens, I did not enjoy Last Jedi, but you can't replace the original.
I think it's fair to say that I don't think The Clone Wars is anyone's favorite Star Wars movie. I think The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, they are a lot of people's favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So I'd say they definitely done a far better.
And one thing we hadn't mentioned yet is there is actually a Star Wars Clone Wars movie, which is not Attack of the Clones, but is that terrible like CGI film that was leading into the CGI show. When you keep saying Clone Wars movie, that's what I'm thinking of. And I bet you that's some kid's favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that was like still not as bad as Attack of the Clones, but that was pretty bad. It's
a better movie than Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones was the worst.
That was like exclusively for children.
Yeah,
which is fine, but it's just like Ahsoka is so annoying. She keeps calling Anakin Sky Guy. It's like, hey, Sky Guy, what's up?
What the hell?
I'm your hotshot 11-year-old Padawan.
You know
who got paid for that?
Anakin, I did not like where Anakin goes from episode 2 to episode 3 and quickly becomes Vader. The Clone Wars show really helped fan that out over the course of the show, how he's changing over the course of the years.
You get some nice Anakin, like, very isolated, dark moments where, you know, he's still like a good Jedi, but he's making these bad decisions because he's emotional, and like that's good stuff.
there's one part where Ahsoka gets captured and he freaking force chokes some guy in private so they can't see him. He's like, you're a Jedi, you can't do anything to me. And he starts just choking the hell out of them to get where they're at.
He was a child soldier, Mike. He was raised in a time of war. It was inevitable that half of them would become fucking Sith.
Yeah.
Plus, you get a lot more depth for Dooku, and I mean, even like Yoda has a lot of really good stuff in the Clone Wars show.
Yeah,
Clone Wars show is just so much better than the prequels.
It adds a lot of depth. Like, it would have been awesome. They would have been releasing it in between episode 2 and episode 3. I mean, they didn't write it yet, but it would have been awesome to have it in that time, because then it would have helped get you actually more excited and understand what's happening in episode 3 instead of just being dropped off. And he's like, what? My wife is going to die? I'll kill everyone I love to save her, including her. What? I don't know what you're doing. Like, it just so stupid.
Well, let me ask this, because there's a pretty, I don't want to say it's common knowledge, but it's a pretty good idea that the reason the Clone Wars show is so good is it's a lot of people who really love Star Wars making it that kind of want to tell a really good version of the story. Right. So if the prequel movies are really good, the Clone Wars show probably wouldn't have been as good. It probably would have been some throwaway thing. But because the prequels were so bad, the Clone Wars show had to be really good and tell the stories that the movies failed to tell.
That's a good point.
Which universe would you rather live in? The universe with the really good Clone Wars show, or the universe with the really good prequel movies?
Really good prequel movies.
Was Clone Wars better than Rebels, though?
I would say early Rebels is worse than Clone Wars. Late Rebels gets pretty good.
Okay, because I've only seen Rebels. I haven't seen Clone Wars, the animated.
I've seen the first 2 seasons of Rebels, and I really liked it. For the first season.
Yeah.
The first couple episodes of the first season were just kind of slow to me.
Yeah, but
the whole first season of the Clone Wars is also really slow.
I enjoyed the Stormtrooper training that he has to go through. That was interesting. That's something we never seen before.
Rebels is good, but Rebels is more of like a very strict Star Wars dichotomy story where it's, dark side, light side.
Right.
Where the Clone Wars show tells a lot more stories of like Rex and the other Stormtroopers and a bunch of the other Jedi. I mean, the Ahsoka Tano's her whole exit from the Jedi Order after years of training up to be a Jedi Knight is really good stuff.
Oh,
she leaves the Order because she realizes that it's just doomed for her.
Also, you had mentioned earlier, were the Republic Commandos in the Clone Wars at somewhere?
Yes, they were in. I think the episode was Witches of the Mist. It's a Asajj Ventress episode where they're trying to track her down.
Oh, I hate her.
And they mention Rex, not Rex. They mentioned Boss and Scorch and Savin.
Okay, that is cool. I mean, to kind of bring it back to Republic Commando. I mean, because this game, after you finish up in Kashyyyk, it kind of ends not really on any big moment. We mentioned a little bit earlier, but I wanted to dig a little deeper into it. Like where you're kind of running up and you all get into separate turrets, which was a cool part leading up to it, where you got one guy goes in this room and you go with 3 guys, then it's just you by yourself.
And the saddest thing ever happens.
One of you guys, well, you all get in turrets, you shoot. What kind of ship was that? Was that just one of the command ships?
I think that was the LAAT gunship, right?
No, it was a gigantic separatist.
It was
ship.
A cruiser of some kind.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
That's better. But you blow it all up, and then as you're all running away and getting on the little ship that Stuart loves, with Yoda talking to you in a
LAAT gunship. Low altitude assault transport.
And then you lose, and then one of the, I forget which one is, but one of them gets left behind.
Sev.
Yeah. and they're ready to be like, fuck it, we're going right back.
Remember, Mike. I'll remember forever.
Because he never got rescued. Because they never made a sequel.
Yeah.
But they're about to go.
Totally open
and they're about to go back. They're like, fuck it, we don't give a shit. Let's go get Sev. And they're like, does one clone really matter? And he's like, yeah, let's go get Sev. And that's when you find out that they were the beginning of the force that was invading Kashyyyk to stop the Separatists, which I thought was
the
cool.
Beginning of the Battle of Kashyyyk, where the huge civil war, the huge attempt to conquer it takes place,
which was not necessary in the movie.
I liked it to show Order 66 being carried out. I like Yoda. I like Yoda sensing the clone trooper
mass murder,
take him out.
Yeah,
and then I guess Yoda sneaks off planet, even though it's covered in fucking clone troopers. Somehow he gets off that planet.
Hey, listen, if you can fucking wave your hand and kill somebody, I'm pretty sure you're not going to have trouble being stealthy.
That's true.
Oh, and the sequel was supposed to be called Star Wars Imperial Commando and based on the betrayal of Republic soldiers, but it was canceled.
God, I would have loved that. Because what I imagine that game is like, because they even in canon there were always stormtroopers that disobeyed the order, like Rex and a bunch of other ones. Like I love that the Clone Wars where there's stormtroopers kind of figuring out what's going on and like they know that Order 66 is about to happen. They know they can't do anything about it, but they can stop themselves from doing it. And so I love the idea of like an Imperial Commando game where you're finding out about Order 66 and you turn away from the stormtroopers. I thought that would have been so cool.
That would have been. It's really too bad we didn't get that. But that also, I mean, I feel like this is coming up to the point we weren't getting any Star Wars games too much after this. Or at least
they slowed it down. I mean, 2003, like 2002 to 2006, it was just nonstop. I mean, like a game every 2 or 3 months. It felt like a Star Wars game was coming out, which was awesome for me, a Star Wars fan, but I'm sure other people were getting pretty pissed about it.
Stop hogging the developers. God.
Let BioWare do other things, and then get bought by EA, and then do nothing.
And die.
And die.
Yeah, because it wasn't until 2012 when when LucasArts was acquired by the Walt Disney Company. So I mean, it was a while before everything became Legends.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good period of time where LucasArts was maybe one of my favorite developers, or at least favorite publishers.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, I thought they went out. I thought they ended, but I guess they didn't.
They're still they still exist, but they exist through EA and DICE.
No.
It's like the shell of what they formerly were.
Oh,
yeah.
You think you want to? Are you guys ready to go on to listener questions?
I think so.
All right. First one I have from Langdon Alger. How is your mom fighting all these games? Well,
it's a big attic. It's one big attic.
Well, it made me laugh. But I don't have too many questions, but one thing I did want to say, I had a lot of people just commenting about how much they loved this game. Tons and tons of comments about how people were just like, "Oh, this game is great."
It's so good.
I mean, here's a funny one from David. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. My only question: why isn't Ubisoft making a reboot of it?
Because they're fucking stupid. That's why. Because the market is there. Well, I'm guessing they aren't because Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 1 didn't do well.
EA.
People hate them.
EA owns it, not Ubisoft. But the joke is that this feels like you said, Rainbow Six game.
Yeah, I mean, if EA was smart, which
they're not.
I used to argue that EA, they were a business, they wanted to make money, but it's hard to say that now because it really feels like they're trying to lose money.
Yeah.
But I think if EA was smart, they'd have like them and Disney, they'd look at all their licenses that they own. They'd say, let's just start giving these out to devs. Not to like own. Let's just start like licensing these out. Say like, oh, you want to make a Star Wars game, Ubisoft, you want to make a Star Wars game. And like let them do instead of buying the fucking company, just make a deal where that company gets to make it. And you just publish it, you still fucking make money.
We probably would have got a lot better games then.
I mean, people constantly, every year I'm hearing people ask for like remasters of Republic Commando and Knights of the Republic and the original Battlefront. Like all these licenses exist, all these IPs exist. Just start making them, just remaster them, or just make an exact copy of it. People will fucking buy that shit.
You know who I would give a remake or a sequel to Republic Commando to? I'd give it to Retro because they have pretty good games with Metroid.
Yeah. Okay,
they would kick ass.
Oh,
yeah.
Here's another question I have from Brent Sweeting. You might know this, Stuart. I have no idea what he's talking about. Isn't Gregor based on this game?
Gregor?
I have no idea either. That's
why
I read
that?
Gregor. I don't know. Maybe it was something weird.
I don't know. Gregor?
Gor.
Gor. Gregor.
Okay, while you're looking that up, I have another question this is from Overflow.
Gregor like Clegane?
No.
I don't know.
Because I'd say so. If you're talking about Gregor Clegane, then yes.
I have no idea what that is.
That's the mountain from
maybe that's probably what he's referencing or something. I don't know. I don't watch Game of Thrones.
I don't know. But if he's talking about the mountain, then why wouldn't you call him the mountain instead of Gregor? Because everyone knows him as the mountain.
Yeah.
Or so hip.
Okay. Chris Morin, have you read the tie-in books by Karen Travis?
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I know who he's talking about. He's talking about okay, so I haven't watched a lot of Rebels. That's why I didn't get this. Oh. Gregor is one of Rex's and Wolf's, like he's like the teammate with Captain Rex and Commander Wolf. that has like he's one of the clones that like disobeyed the order.
Okay.
Yeah. I you know what, I could see that because Wolf and Rex were really like they were really defined characters, whereas Gregor wasn't. So I could totally see that. So
okay, I remember him.
I'm on board with this question now. Okay. Yes, I think yes.
Thank you guys for the question. Okay, one from Chris Moran. Have you read the tie-in books by Karen Travis? Sadly, I never knew they were books.
Sadly, I haven't, but I know people who have, and they quite enjoy it.
Yeah. I will say though that if anyone hates the new trilogy, just go read Timothy Zahn's trilogy that takes place after Return of the Jedi. That trilogy is badass.
There's so many like redos for the prequel. That's one of my favorite things about Star Wars is like, it's at a point where kind of everybody owns it, and so people will just make their own stories in it, and it's like almost elevated above fan fiction now. But some of it's so good where you're like, yeah, like this is just my preferred version of what happened. I'm okay with that existing.
Yeah.
Okay, next one I have is from Carrington Martin. Who is your favorite commando?
In the game or in general?
Let's say in the game. I'm assuming that's what he meant.
Scorch.
Scorch, yeah.
Yeah.
He's voiced by the guy who voices Carthonasi.
Oh God, you would fucking KOTOR.
Carthonasi's awesome. You can't trust anybody, Mike.
I didn't like him in KOTOR, by the way.
He's gonna die alone.
All right, this one from Emmanuel. Never played the game, but taking into account any iteration of the Clone Wars and after Commander Cody or Captain Rex.
I'm sorry, read that again?
I don't know. I read the question, but then I realized it doesn't. I don't understand what he meant.
Read it again. I think.
Never played the game, but taking into account any iteration of the Clone Wars and after Commander Cody or Captain Rex. Oh, I think he's saying who do we like more?
Oh,
I can't answer that, so I'll let you guys.
I mean, Rex, obviously. Rex is the one that's like he's always hanging out with Ahsoka Tano, and they build like a really nice rapport up, which I always found really funny in the Clone Wars show, because you have this commander who is like this badass like Mandalorian clone who uses dual pistols and just kicks ass, and then you have Ahsoka Tano, like a 12-year-old who's giving him orders.
Yeah,
I love that dynamic.
Oh, anything else? Either of you guys?
No.
Do you know the difference between Captain Rex and Commander Cody?
I know Cody was in the movies, right? He's the.
I think they were both in the movies.
Okay,
Cody was definitely in the movies.
Cody was definitely in the movies. I think Rex shows up as like a.
Because Rex wasn't around till the Clone Wars show, I feel like.
Yeah, you know what? He might not. I thought he was in Revenge of the Sith, but he might not have been. He might have left by that point.
Because he leaves the leaves the Empire, doesn't he? Then.
Yeah, he leaves. Rex leaves. Wolf leaves. And Gregor leaves.
Okay. Oh, and then two more questions. Oh, another one from Manuel. Also, favorite Star Wars game. Stuart, why don't you go first? I have no idea what you're going to say.
Well, out of left field, it's obviously going to be Knights of the Old Republic 2, the best Star Wars game. Because it's a Star Wars game about Force-sensitive people who aren't strictly Jedi or Sith. It's a gray game. It's all about the effects of war, and it's so good. It's so good.
I'm shocked by this answer.
Yeah.
I'm literally
Me too.
shocked.
I mean, I couldn't see it coming.
It's not like I bring it up every single week of my life.
Like every week of this podcast.
Every minute, really.
Every minute. I am just I am perpetually thinking about Knights of the Old Republic 2. If you,
How about you? How about you, Morgan?
You guys might grill me for this, but Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Go to hell.
Oh, man.
I was expecting that.
I actually wasn't listening. I was just ready to be mad at you.
Yeah, that's fair. Star Wars: The Clone Wars 2002. It was vehicular combat for the most part on like starfighters and speeder bikes and tanks.
Yeah.
A lot of Jedi tanks, and it was a strange one. It came bundled with my my family's Xbox, so I played the shit out of it.
Nice.
Took me almost a year to beat because parts of it were that hard.
I know what you're talking about. I feel like I played it, but I never finished it because I also had that pack I bought at some point where it comes with a Tetris game.
Yep.
I also played the shit out of that game because you could play as Mace Windu and throw your lightsaber, and I thought that was really cool.
That was badass.
That was really awesome because you fight the spider drones as him, and he just like You just throw your lightsaber and hang back, and you're just like, ah, fuck you. I'm Mace Windu. You don't tell me what to do, bitch.
How about you, Stefan? Do you have a favorite?
I want to say the first Rogue Squadron.
Okay,
That's a really good game.
Also good answer.
Yeah, classic.
I'm gonna say Dark Forces. I'm kidding. Lego Star Wars. Lego Star Wars Complete Collection, Complete Saga. That's so probably tied with Force Unleashed, but I really love the Complete Saga. That is a really good game.
Yeah. Those games are just like, I don't know. Those are like some of the easiest games for me to just jump into. Like if I just want to play a fun little game in the background and not really worry about anything, I'll probably throw in Lego Star Wars.
But also, honorable mention, Shadows of the Empire. I like that game. It's a terrible game, but I really like it.
It's a fun, terrible game.
Yeah. I mean, I just like Star Wars. Oh, and then last question that we got.
What was
another? Yes.
Also honorable mention, Star Wars. Is it Jedi Starfighter? No, it's...
There's Star Wars Starfighter.
Naboo Starfighter?
I think it's just Starfighter, where you get to play as the you play as like the Naboo ship and then a bounty hunter, and it's just a pure flying game. I thought that was really fun.
You mean Star Wars Episode 1: Battle for Naboo? That's just kind of like Rogue Squadron, but
no, it was Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. That was the sequel. The original was called Star Wars Starfighter. Yeah, it was the 2001 one. I thought it was called.
I thought it was called Jedi Starfighter Naboo Rogue Squadron Part 1.
It.
No, there's also
that's the loot box you can unlock.
Are you sure you don't mean Star Wars? He might mean Star Wars Starfighter, which has a Naboo ship on the cover. It's a PS2 game and Steam apparently.
It was a 2001 game. It was really fun.
Yep. Yeah.
Stewie, the Star Wars The Clone Wars game, you can fly as your favorite ship.
But you don't know what my favorite ship is.
You said your ship was what's it? I want to see.
Do you remember my favorite ship? Because my favorite ship is such an obscure ship in Star Wars that I know nobody knows it.
Dear.
The
Solar Sailor. I don't know.
It wasn't the Solar Sailor. You're talking about the LAAT, which I think is a really cool ship. It's not my favorite ship in Star Wars.
Well,
my favorite ship in Star Wars is the Black Sun AEG-77 Vigo gunship, sir. It's a ship that no one's ever heard of. I think it's the coolest ship design I've ever seen. I love it. I want to get a model of it, but they're so hard to find.
Oh, and Star Wars The Clone Wars isn't available on PC ever. It's only GameCube, PS2, and Xbox.
Yeah,
that's sad.
Unfortunate.
Hey, if anyone out there finds a copy of the AEG-77 Vigo gunship, there's little 3D prints of it, hit me up.
All right, last question.
From Derek for a Vigo.
Zellhofer. Have you ever played Jedi Knight Academy?
Yes.
I have not yet.
Yeah,
I really want to.
One of the sequels to the Dark Forces, kind of. So
it's the last game of that whole series.
It's part of that really confusing saga of Kyle Katarn.
Oh yeah, we're definitely playing that entire series on the show at some point.
I think we have to.
I want to.
People fucking love Kyle Katarn. I mean, he's no Mitra Surik, but, whatever. That's fair.
All right. And then before we get to Shelf or Box, I just want to say that if anyone who listens to the show and you're like, hey, I want to play this game, the game's available on GOG. It's available on Steam. And it's also, it was free on Xbox Gold a few months back, people were telling me, as of this recording. So, hey, there's many ways to play it. Definitely sit down, play it. It didn't age at all. It's still, maybe a little bit, but it's still fun.
It's definitely a very good game. It's still very fun.
I really enjoyed it.
Still very good looking and feeling.
If you ever feel like, if you ever would consider going back to like a Rainbow Six Vegas or like a Ghost Recon game, this is the game for you. This is it's aged about the same, where it's like it's a little clunky, but it's still really cool and really fun.
And it's not that long. It only took me about 5-6 hours to run through it, which was enough. Like, I mean, I know some people are like, oh man, it's too short, but when you pay $5 for a game on Steam, I don't care. I'm happy that I got to experience it and move on to the next game. And when you do a show where you record a new game every week, you're happy when a game is short.
I think it will make you, it will leave you wanting more.
Which you won't get, but, it's worth playing. All right, and for Shelf or Box, Stefan, would you want to go first? Since you're the one that I'm most not sure of.
I guess it's going to go on the shelf. Just because it was still fun. I just didn't feel like, I don't know if it was because I wasn't in a Star Wars mood or something, but I just kind of like surfed right through it, and I had fun. Yeah, I had fun, and like the actual mechanics of telling your team where to go, and like felt super fluid, and like it it's like almost one of the best games on Xbox. I want to say that is a first-person shooter, aside from like the obvious ones like Halo. And
This is better than the first Halo.
I might argue with you on that. I don't know.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. As much as
Halo
I like
2
this game,
is better, but this is better than the first Halo.
I think Halo 1 is still better than this game.
Yeah,
Halo 1 is like one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
That's a tough argument, Mike.
Or at least one of the most important.
But yeah, I'll put it on the shelf just because I did have fun playing it, but I felt like like Stu said, it's just really short, and as soon as it's over, you just want to play more. So yeah, it's going on the shelf.
It's like eating like a really good cake, but you only have like 3 spoonfuls.
Yeah,
like a really good cheesecake. You're like, oh my god, like tiramisu. You're like, this is so delicious, but it's just a tiny little bowl, and you can only have that much.
Exactly.
I could eat this for hours.
Stu, you want to go next?
Sure. Well, it's Star Wars, so it's automatically going on my shelf because Star Wars.
I'll find one that doesn't go on the shelf. Dark Forces
go
on the shelf?
There are no Star Wars games that will not go on my shelf. I think Dark Forces is on my shelf. I hope it did.
We really should keep track of that someday.
Yeah, I think I put it on there, but I think it was one of the games where I said like it was leaning off the shelf or something.
Okay, sorry. Keep
going. I really love this game a lot. I mean, I played the shit out of this, and I was like, this game is so fun. I wish that they made more games like this. And then Rainbow Six Vegas came out, and then Rainbow Six Vegas 2 came out, and my childhood was complete. I was just so into the idea of being able to like move troops around and like control the battlefield. I thought that was so awesome. And it's become like a pretty good staple of like Tom Clancy games, and games in that style today have that very unique troop movement aspect of them that I always enjoy. And you know, it's Star Wars, and it had a lot of fun weapons. And the only downside of this game, in my mind, is that it's only 3 levels. If it was like 6 or even 5, perfect game, perfect 10 out of 10 game. But I mean, it's still going on my shelf. I still love it, even with only 3 levels.
I'm happy it's only 3 levels, but
three polished levels.
Yeah, 3 polished levels.
Yeah,
and
they're all pretty long.
Morgan, what about you?
Shelf, 100%. Good game. Okay. I'll probably end up playing it again before the year's out, I think. At least a bit.
It's worth it.
I'll probably play it again tomorrow.
Yeah, you got time for our next
that and KOTOR, right?
And go. I'm still playing KOTOR too. All right, I still have the. Look, I'm on Dantooine. I already did Narshada and Alderaan.
The only reason I'm not starting KOTOR 2 is because I'm waiting until you put it on the show. Then I'm gonna play through it.
I will have played.
I haven't started it.
Listen, if we put it on the show next month, I will have played it 3 times by then.
I'm sorry, but everything is the schedule's filled until November. So.
Our schedules for games are like, oh, we got a pretty long game coming up, or we're gonna have time to do it. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, but will you have time to do it and play KOTOR 2? I love Star Wars so much, and I love this. Like, I love KOTOR 2 and Republic Commando and that style game so much that I started playing Republic Commando, and then I was like, I need a break from Republic Commando. I know, I'll play Knights of the Old Republic too. And I was like, I just really want to play Old Republic now. And so I actually launched Old Republic and started playing that for a little bit while we were playing. Because I just love Star Wars. And I think those are all such good games.
All right, I'll go last. This is definitely going on the shelf. Because one, I like Star Wars, not as much as some people on the show. But I do love Star Wars. And at first, this game was a little iffy for me, especially in that time limit part. But I really got into this game in the second act. In the third, I loved this game. It was a great experience. Definitely going on the shelf. All
that's
right. All 4
the
shelves.
round table. Yep.
Oh, and Stefan, would you like to introduce what game we're playing next week?
We are playing KOTOR 2. No, I'm just kidding.
I was worried you weren't going to make the joke. I had to make it first.
Yeah, we were feeling it. We were feeling that. It is actually the classic game Doom. And,
91, not the 2000.
Yeah, the original Doom. So look forward to that.
This is the Doom that Chandler Bing played on Friends. All right, this is your old Doom.
Oh, and I forgot to say this in the opening of the show, but this was our first episode of season 2.
Oh yeah,
which I wanted to say in the opening. I completely forgot, and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't say that.
We arbitrarily decided that last episode was the end of season 1, and this was the beginning of season 2.
And we are going to bring you guys, since we got through our first season and you guys were great and been listening to us, we're going to do a special bonus.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys want to announce what the bonus is. It'll be coming out within a couple weeks of this at some point.
I think we should announce it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and announce it. Announce that we're working on it.
So we can announce what it is. You guys cool with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do our first movie review essentially.
Yeah.
And we're gonna sit down and watch the first Silent Hill film. That's a bonus for you guys for listening to us for a whole season worth. And the way that we can define these seasons, which I'm gonna say in other places too, is based on those are our first picks. Everything up to Aladdin was pretty much mostly our first picks and a couple extra we added even before we started recording. And season 2 is what we decided about midway through the show, about episode 13 or so, when we put together season 2 to kind of give you an idea of how we're dividing these seasons.
So don't try to do any math on this. This was all
There's
just
no
like
math.
This was like as many games as we could think of the first day that Mike asked us.
Well, the first day we asked
that was season 1.
the original 4, and then we put together 4 more, I think, or 3 more each of us, and that's what became season 1. Then we added a couple in there based on like we needed more time or something.
And season 2 is
like
easy.
4 at a time, and then another 4, and then I think we did the rest. We did the next. It's 21 minus 8. The next 14. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
Jesus. The next 13.
Season 2 is even more diverse than season 1, I would say.
And we actually have a much better idea of what we're doing now.
And season 2 guest every week, right?
Almost.
Pretty much.
Almost.
Like,
There's only a couple.
I mean, a lot more guests. So.
All right, and then I think I'm going to start with plugs now. Like I said earlier, if you guys get a chance, please take a listen to that. God, what the hell? That other podcast I mentioned, Unboxing Stories, will be a link in the show notes. I know, I forgot the name.
Let's go ahead and install real quick. Mike find his notes, because that cannot be the plug.
Our awesome intro and outro is courtesy of Paul B, a.k.a. Mike Stoney. Please go take a listen to his music. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram. We both have pages for games my mom found. On Instagram and Facebook, I'm constantly posting images of whatever the upcoming game that we're going to be playing as. So it gets you a chance to kind of see what we're talking about before we talk about it, so you have a little bit of an idea of that way when you come to the show with a little bit more knowledge if it's a game that you're unfamiliar with.
It's good for me and Stefan because it shows us how far behind Mike we are.
Yeah.
And Morgan, since you're our guest,
like, it's Tuesday. What the hell?
I got nothing.
You want to? Okay, I know you guys got nothing. So because 2 days ago we recorded Aladdin. All right, I want to thank everyone for listening. You guys have a wonderful night. Bye,
Don't
everybody.
forget to get some back to.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Get a pedal to whoever installed the back tank here.